If you just use mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, it's not very descriptive. Is that your mom? Is that your husband's mom? Is that your children's mom? Meaning you.
I
That's one of
love
the
that.
biggest reasons why people get rid of photos. If they don't know who the people are, they're like, doesn't matter to me. I don't know who it is.
Hello and welcome to Clutter Care Organizing. I'm Amy Novick, a Google certified trainer and professional organizer. My goal is to help you move from self-doubt and confusion to being an organized business owner who uses Google with confidence. Today, we are talking to expert Jenny Kasa, who does photos and digital photo organizing. I have a lot of photos for myself, but photo organizing is not my area of expertise. So, Jenny, give us a little bit of information about how you got into professional organizing and how long you've been in the field.
I originally started helping people with photos. Actually, yesterday is 27 years. I started as a scrapbooking consultant, figuring out what to do with them when you pick them up from the developer. And that sounds foreign at this point because we don't pick photos from a developer anymore. And so life changed. We went to digital cameras and then to these phones that we carry around now that are everything. So people were struggling with printed photos, photos on cards, photos on SD cards, hard drives, and then photos on phones. And now we're trying to manage things, but they're all in different places. I had a computer and graphic design background prior to my scrapbooking world. So when things took a turn for digital, that was just super exciting for me because that is my passion. And I didn't really realize organization, but the amount of photos that I was taking, I quickly learned that I wanted to be able to find them. The whole reason I was a scrapbooker was I wanted to have stories to tell my kids. And then I realized that other people needed the same thing.
So my daughter's her bat mitzvah in a few weeks, and one tradition is to have a video montage of all these photos of her through the ages. And my husband last weekend spent all weekend going through because we haven't kept organized. We haven't. This is, like I said, this is one of the areas that I haven't worried about yet. We have all the photos on our phones. We have the most important ones posted to Facebook. So he was going through Facebook literally post by post, trying to download the photos that he wanted to put in this thing. And then he was like, well, I have them all, but they're not organized. They're not named. They're not anything. So then he had to go through and organize the downloads and rename them and on and on and on. This is the not keeping up with it part. We had this big thing that we want to showcase all these photos and we haven't kept up with it. Now we don't have a lot of time and we have to do all this work.
I think that where your photos are stored is the hardest question for people to answer because most people don't have one place that they can say that they are. My main goal for people is to encourage them to find a way that they can store everything in one place. And that is really what has helped me have a lot of peace of mind with my photos and memories is that I have a permanent safe hub that I've created for my family that will outlive me and be passed on to them. There's a lot of satisfaction in knowing that any minutes that I spend here and there, I'm not taking days out of my life to organize this. It's truly moments here and there, but I know exactly where it needs to go so that when I need it, I can actually find it. So no matter what it is, whether it's a PDF, if it's a recipe, if it's a photo of something that was hanging on the wall, if it's an audio clip, or any of those things you can digitize, videos, it's really important to have one place that you can find it all. If I'm going to look for a photo, I go directly to the account where I have everything stored in. Much of it is auto-organized, and then I can build upon that to do whatever I might want to do.
Why do you like Forever as your hub?
Forever is a platform where privacy and permanence are two main factors. It is a storage platform that I can pass it on to my family because if I'm going to spend the time, I don't want that to be gone when I die. Anything I can do to help them out stays with them. I concentrate on my cloud storage because when you think about backing up to a computer or a hard drive or a flash drive, they don't have a lifetime shelf life. They're not meant to last forever. A flash drive, if you pull it out incorrectly, you can damage everything that's on that flash drive. And same with a hard drive. Your backup is only as good as your follow through. It's hard enough to get people to do it one time, let alone trying to figure out how to manage it in multiple different ways. Using Forever really gives me the one place that I know I can manage it. It is your digital home. There's many levels of sharing built in. You can add to it and then pass it on in your family. They become account managers. The other thing is that Forever does guarantee that we will bring your images forward to new technology. So we're your tech backup as well.
I like the simplicity of having one place to do the thing. So you were saying that on your phone, there's a daily something.
Yep. So the app has something that's called On This Day. And when you open it up each day, it shows you the photos for any year that has this date on it. And so I can pull it up and see, oh, last year, this is what we were doing. And then I can go back however many years. So it's kind of this blast through time in however many years you have. But it's a great opportunity when you're looking at those, because last year you maybe were at the grocery store and you took 5 screenshots of this, that, or the other thing, and it never got deleted. So this is a great 20 seconds, boom, 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 delete, gone. And there's an end to it, because however many years of photos you have in there, you just go through those. Most times it's 5 minutes or less that it takes me to go through all of my days, and I identify my people with my facial recognition. I can add them to albums. I can share, like, oh, this is such a fun memory. This was maybe 10 years ago. Oh, look how little the kids were. I'll send it to the kids, or I'll send it to my best friend or my husband, or, whatever. We'll share those. And then I can use that time to add in stories or other details. But it's fitting my photos into my daily life instead of waiting for life to stop and dealing with my photos, because it's not going to happen.
So one of the things I know people have issues with or confused by, not sure what to do about, is viewing your photos in an album on your phone.
I would just say that if that's the platform that you're using and it makes sense, then the albums definitely help you narrow down your search so that when you're looking for something, you can find things. And that brings up another point about how we save photos, how we organize. If you are doing it in a way that someone else is going to maybe come beyond you and be looking for pictures, like, I know a lot of people think, oh, chronological, I'm going to keep everything chronological because that's what makes sense. It does make sense to us, but in 25 years, will my kids be able to know, like, the memories of them being teens or younger? Will they be able to comprehend what year to go to look for a specific year? So if I wanted them to find it, do I make an album of them? Which actually brings up a great point about some of the different systems and looking for this, is that you don't want to have to duplicate. And this happens more so, I think, when you're saving on a computer. But when people bring their photos in and they're like, yep, I want to have an album for each of my kids. And now I have all of these photos that have both of my kids in it. So I duplicate them. Don't do that. And duplicating them to put them in each of their albums. And when you talk about filling up accounts, when you have to do that, you're doubling the size of your photo library by taking any photo that has more than one person in it to put it in their separate albums. That's a whole nother thing that comes up and makes our life more crazy. But as far as viewing your photos, if that's the place you're going to view them, then I would say it does make sense to decide how you want them organized and to use that system, that structure.
Okay, I like how you said organize them how somebody else might look for them later.
And I like to also remind people to reference first and last names as well, and not being general mom, because when they find your photos, is that your mom? Is that your husband's mom? Is that your children's mom? Meaning you. So if you just use mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, it's not very descriptive for somebody who's going to come and try to find it. Like, when we're not here to tell that story and somebody comes upon them, if they're able to get to the pictures, are they able to know who the people are? And that's
I
one
love
of the
that.
biggest reasons why people get rid of photos is if they don't know who the people are, they're like, "Doesn't matter to me. I don't know who it is." So that's easier.
Right. So that a little bit brings up naming conventions of either folders or photos itself. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so folder structures, I do use first and last names in my albums that I use. And I will use maiden names in there. Again, I bring up just a couple of points about Forever in that we can attach not only by names, but by description. You can actually add in more detail to describe that this was so and so's mom on, whatever side. And then you can also have the maiden name is there, but it doesn't necessarily show, but it gets attached to it. So there's a way to add in some of those greater details too. And there's likely ways to do that in other platforms as well.
You had mentioned facial recognition, and I know that in Google and iCloud, you can search by facial recognition, location, items like she had an umbrella, and I look it up. Do you have anything to say about searching for photos?
Yeah, I would say it's helpful. I know that there are a lot of people who are afraid of different features of AI and don't agree or like them. I think we're at a place in this world where there's not really going to be a way to get around that. There are AI features, whether you know it or not, they're there, right? And if this is a project you really want to do and you really want your photos organized, I would say embrace it. So Forever has a kind of a different take on facial recognition. But when I installed that facial recognition on my account, it organized over 70,000 photos, identified the people in them overnight, something I had not gotten to for the 9 years that I had had my account. So literally, it made my life so much easier, almost to the point where I wouldn't even worry about creating the albums anymore. For my closest family members, yes. But am I going to do it for all of the people who are close to me? No, because I'll go straight to the person to find the pictures. And it has saved me so much time in helping my clients who also have facial recognition when they're working on a senior project and there's a picture of mom and the senior at such and such age. And we can go and search for dad and the senior and put in the same parameters for the time. And within 2 or 3 clicks, here we had this picture in a library of thousands and thousands and thousands of photos that we were able to get to it in 3 clicks. That's what you want. When you want a photo, you want it now. You don't want to think, sometime in the next 6 months, I'd like to find this photograph. Usually
Right.
it comes to mind and you want it right now.
But what is the best advice you could give anyone if they're feeling overwhelmed by their digital or physical photos?
I would say just to know that you're not alone, to know that it will take time, but if you take your first step, you can manage it, you can deal with it, and there are people who can come alongside of you and help you. You don't have to do it alone. That might be family members, it might be a professional, it might be a friend. Sometimes it's just accountability. More than likely, somebody in their circle feels the exact same way and they could go at it together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is such great information. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. And where can we find you best?
It's actually just www.jennykasa.com, and it takes them to a sign up where I can get back to them.
Awesome. I truly appreciate your help with photo organizing. That is one place I try to stay out of, except I guess I'm going to have to dig in with my own stuff. But thank you so much for all your
Yeah,
expertise.
you're welcome.